When the National Crime Agency were able to crack open encrochat and gain access into a Greater Manchester gang's colossal drug operation, it was only a matter of time before their national operation was dismantled and the men's homes were raided. Big time dealers Mark Evans, James Reilly, Keith Kemp and Caine Randell had been on the police radar after locals reported that the men were dealing drug on a national scale. This was not your local operation. The gangsters were selling multi-kilos of H and white and Class B nationwide, from as far up to as Glasgow and as far south as Portsmouth. Now the gang were all separate entities, but they came together for mutual money-making opportunities. The gang was so powerful that Greater Manchester Police even set up Operation Achille. The National Crime Agency got Greater Manchester Police off to a great start by infiltrating the gang's encrochat platform. From that point, dedicated officers were able to intercept call after call after call and thousands of messages, despite there being a 24-hour delay. Now, police quickly found out that Mark Evans had used the handle Manjistaff, and his role was established as a trusted courier, a big strapping man who was also the enforcer of the gang. Now, Mark was surveillanced travelling to Liverpool as well as London and Oxford, but was found routinely in Oldham and Cheetham Hill, where he supplied other Manchester gangsters with Class B. He was also responsible for collecting money and checking on the safe houses. Despite Mark Evans running the encrochat handle, Manjistaff, police noted that Keith Kemp also took command on the handle when needed. Keith also worked as a courier, but also helped chase outstanding debts too for his associates. Now Keith Kemp was put on surveillance also, and police noted that he had travelled and made multiple trips to Liverpool to drop off over £120,000 and also collect at least 3 kg of white. Police also noted that Keith Kemp, being the team player that he was, also made multiple trips to London, Peterborough, Telford, Derby and Middlesbrough. He was using a combination of vans and also hired vehicles. As for James Reilly, he was his own crime boss, already established and making over £300,000. Now he had joined forces with the other men, but he often acted alone, using the encrochat handle Wide Orchard. John was the main person who was connected with other kingpins across the UK. Now John had often sourced large kilos of white and H for other members of the gang, and even acted as a middleman for various drug and money transactions. Now as for Caine Randell, Greater Manchester Police reported that he used the encrochat handle Ivy Hawk. Caine also acted alone for the most part, but he often brought Class A and Class B from other members of the group, or used Keith Kemp and Mark Evans to make cross-country journeys for him when he needed white or tens of thousands of pounds being dropped off to a different location. Police noted that Mark, Keith, John and Caine made no attempts to hide their occupation as dealers. Though the men were money orientated as opposed to being involved in drug feuds, they did not fear the police. They actually believed because the men had not been caught during Operation Venetic, they had slipped through the cracks. However, the Manchester men could not account for users who informed police as to the Peugeot partner vans and the leased cars that they had used to carry Class A, or the fact that the users' homes had been used to count over £100,000 plus in drug money, or the fact that encrochat messages and calls were all logged by police along with specific handles and the corresponding dealer running said handle. 37-year-old Mark Evans from Wythenshawe was jailed for 10 years and 6 months for conspiracy to supply Class A and also laundering money and handling stolen goods. Keith Kemp, who was 44 years old, of Wythenshawe also was jailed for the same time, 10 years and 6 months for the same charge. 28-year-old Caine Randell of Wythenshawe was jailed for 2 years and 8 months for conspiracy to supply Class B and also money laundering, and Keith Reilly of Wythenshawe was jailed for 12 years for conspiracy to supply Class A and B and also money laundering. Stay safe.